one order of egg foo young and a broccoli and... Oh, hey! Welcome back to the Evan Phillips Show, guys. Today, we're going to be asking the question, should I start a Turo business? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned. All right, guys. Well, welcome back to this episode of the Evan Phillips Show. As you heard just a second ago, we're going to be asking the question, should I start a Turo business? Now, this is something that kind of came up for me in the last couple of months, and it was something that I thought could really help those people who are looking to make an additional income or, substitute a car payment for renting it out. Now, a lot of people may not understand what Turo is, and that's T-U-R-O, Turo. It's basically an app that allows you to put your car out for rent. Now, I'm not going to be able to cover everything in this video as far as how it works, insurance coverage, and all of the other things, but what I will break down in this video is it the right thing for you? So Turo basically allows you to allow your car to go out. You can set a perimeter of details like how long the car can be gone for, how many miles can be traveled, whether they need to bring the car back clean or not. So these are all options you can choose within the app to basically just set up your, however you guys want to do your preferences there. Now, let's talk about really quick whether this is something you should do. Now, Turo is definitely something I think can help bring additional funds in, especially for those people who have maybe one or two vehicles. And also depends on where you live. And it also depends on what kind of car that you either have or are planning on purchasing. We're just starting with a vehicle that we already have in a 2018 Audi A4. We've been doing it for about 1 month now. So I think I have a pretty good idea of just some of the basics now to be able to, answer some of the questions that I had up front. So an Audi A4 in my area goes for about $99 a day, which is pretty reasonable. Now, if you think about your goal, if you set up 15 days to 20 days out of a month that you rent your vehicle, do the math. It's pretty easy to calculate that that is a great income for you. The nice thing that I like about it, it's a vehicle. So I have real estate properties that bring in rental income monthly, and they're somewhat limited in what they can earn because they're the property, you can only ask so much for rent, right? The nice thing about a vehicle is that you can actually exceed sometimes the amount that you're making on a real estate property with a vehicle, and there's a lot less involved with a vehicle than there is real estate. So you can guess that you're not going to have to be dealing with AC units or HOAs or dealing with tenants and all these things. Yeah, there's people who will drive the car, but all in all, it's a vehicle. It's not a property. So this is a great way to supplement your income, or a great way to just cover car payment if it's a vehicle that you're not using a lot. So the first thing I wanted to do is just test the waters to see how this started and how it works. So I would definitely recommend going through and getting yourself familiar with how Turo works. Read through all of your apps and the instructions that it gives you there. There's a lot of videos on, what type of coverage you should have. How does the insurance work for your personal versus Liberty Mutual, which Turo goes through? And those are questions that I can answer. If you guys have questions in regards to those things, just leave it in the comments below and I'll definitely answer those. But to keep the video simple today, we're just going to talk about the one car I have and how it's been doing. So the first thing I did is I actually went and downloaded the Turo app. You'll go through a quick setup and you'll put your car in, you'll take pictures of it, inside and outside. You'll put the condition and the mileage and all these other sort of things on there. You'll put the VIN number in, and that'll bring up your vehicle as well and give your clients kind of a list of things that this vehicle can provide to them. So once you go through and you get all of that set up, there's not a whole lot after that that you have to do. So there isn't a lot of paperwork or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. I'd say if you have a vehicle and you put it on there, you could probably put it on in the same day and have it going out the next day if you're ready to do that. So it's not a difficult thing to do overall. So you definitely want to do your research, like I said in the beginning. You want to make sure you've got the right car in the right area. There are other tools out there that you guys can utilize, like a Carculator. Never heard of that before. So it'll basically tell you what your car would earn, or what any car would earn in your state, city, zip, etc. Now, I wouldn't say these are all accurate because it's based on a lot of numbers, but it gives you a general idea of what the going rate is and what it would look like for you. I'll leave that in the description below as well, so you guys will have access to that calculator. Now, once you get your car set up on Turo, there are some items that I recommend that everyone should use. There's a list of items, guys, but I'm just gonna cover two of the ones that are extremely important to me. The first one was a GPS. Now, this is not super expensive. It plugs right into the OBD2 port, which is underneath the driver side of the steering wheel. And if you guys don't know where that is, just look under there, you'll see a port. But it basically plugs right in there. And you download the app, and the app will give you, depending on the type of GPS unit you buy, mine costs about $69. And it gives me data about where the car is, what direction it's headed, throttle position, fuel level, coolant temperature, etc. So I'd recommend getting a pretty decent one like that that gives you all of these details. It gives you some data about how your person is driving, and secretively, you can actually get that over to Turo and still leave a good review for the person. So these are some things you want to do. Another thing that I highly recommend getting would be a key box, especially if you can't be there. Just go ahead and purchase a key box on Amazon, and you can go ahead and send them a code. Once everything is booked, you can actually book them in through your mobile app, and they can pick the key up and you don't have to be there. So I love this portion of the business because you can actually operate this without necessarily being right in front of your customers. So if you have a job in the daytime and you need to go to do something else, this can still run and you can still do what you need to do. Now, I'm not going to get into too many details on those things. I want to answer the question, should you start this? So let's talk about two different scenarios. So let's say that you have a vehicle, and it's a vehicle that you rely on daily to get back and forth to work, and it's your sole mode of transportation, and you're not in a big city where there's subways or trains or buses, etc., to get you to and fro. I would say I probably wouldn't recommend this for you because the average trip that I'm booking is 3 to 4 days, sometimes 5. So you may not be in a position where you can be without a vehicle for this long and still make things work. Another reason would be if, something happens to the vehicle and it needs repairs, you might be without that car for some time. So it hurts not only your Turo business, but it also hurts you because you cannot commute the way that you need to do. So I'd say if you're in that situation, it may not be the best business for you to start, just because of some of those basic reasons there. Now, for the person who may have 1 or 2 cars, or maybe even a third car, and it's in decent condition, or good condition, one that's going to get rented, I would highly recommend doing this, even if it's to cover car payment, guys, because this can quite easily cover a car payment if you adjust your pricing properly. So it's pretty simple. Like I said, you would put your vehicle on, you'd make sure everything is working, make sure there are no engine lights on. The car does have to be in a tip-top condition. So, for those guys who've got a lot of engine lights on, Turo does not allow you to rent with the engine lights on. So this is something you might want to think about too. So if you've done custom work to the vehicle, and the catalytic converter is off, and you've got a straight pipe, and you're fix your lights if they are on, so that you can rent it out on Turo. You do have to take pictures of your dash and upload them to each trip. So just make sure that if you do have a vehicle, it's a vehicle that's capable, and it's something that you don't mind being out there. It may get a little wear and tear, obviously, on it, because it depends on who you're renting to. So I would say, in our first month, we've done at least 20 days of rentals. And the good thing about it is people can start renting for the future. So in November, we've already got, I think, maybe 7 or 10 days booked, which is great. that gives you a great opportunity to bring in an additional income. And especially, like I said, if it's a vehicle that doesn't really need to be used, great. So we're also thinking about picking up maybe another car or two, just depending on, we're doing research to see what car is going to really do the best. So I cannot explain how important this is, guys. You don't want to get into a vehicle, number one, that's too expensive, because you're going to have to cover whatever your payment is if you're financing it. So make it easy on yourself. Keep your car payment lower so that you can not only cover the car payment, but keep most of the proceeds. And here's another cool tip too. If you have a car that you're really interested in and it does well in your area, hey, you can have access to a vehicle and drive it on the days that it's not rented, and it could be a great vacation car for you. So tons of good things about Turo, guys. I just wish I would have got into it earlier, but hey, it's never too late to start. So these are just some basic details I have about Turo. I hope that this information has helped someone in making a decision. As always, guys, if you have more questions about Turo, or is this something you want to know, or maybe another video with more details on how things work, or how to set up the car, or a tutorial or something like that, let me know, because this is definitely something I feel that you can use to create that additional savings that you guys need to put in your savings, whether it's for Christmas, a down payment on your home, or to even cover an auto loan and pay off other debts. So this is a great way to do that, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Evan Phillips Show, and you guys have a great rest of your day.